Hey guys, welcome to the Wright of Photo. This is Caleb Swanson, and you see a new face here. This is Ezra, my friend.
Hey guys.
He's also into photography, and this is my first video I've had with a guest. And
Yes.
also a first video where I'll be answering a question from one of our viewers. And so let me just read that question for you. This viewer previously used a film box camera, which got stolen from her, which is very unfortunate, and she wants to know what cameras that are good but inexpensive, and where she can still control her shots using the manual mode. And so after this intro, we're going to share with you some cameras and share with you the specs and which ones are good for certain types of photography.
We've compiled a list of cameras we think would be great for that beginner enthusiast who just got into photography but still wants to have control over their images.
So the first DSLR that we have here is the Canon SL1.
The Canon SL1 is a great first DSLR for beginners or enthusiasts. Compact size. It comes with a great kit lens, the new Canon 18-55 STM.
And it costs only $499. You can get it used for less, of course. It's 18 megapixels.
Packed with a Digic 5 processor.
Yes, and it's 4 FPS, so you can shoot relatively pretty fast. And it has a 9-point AF system and shoots 1080p at 30 frames per second and 720p at 60.
It's also equipped with a super high-res touchscreen. The second camera on our list is the Nikon D3300.
It is a really awesome, really inexpensive actually, DSLR for entry-level purposes. Only for $499, just like the SL1. But this one is 24 megapixels, it shoots 5 FPS, and has 11-point AF, and shoots at 1080p HD at 60 FPS.
And if you want to get even cheaper, you could really go and look for a used Nikon D3200. That's actually what we're using as our B camera right now.
Right over there.
Right there. Hi.
And that I only got for only $200, body only, of course. But you can get other inexpensive lenses like this one right here, which is $75 used. It's super awesome. I just bought it from an awesome store. So,
the next camera on our list is actually a mirrorless, the Sony a6000.
The a6000 is a 24 megapixel camera. It costs $699. It shoots 11 FPS, which is big for sports. It also has 179 AF points, which is a lot more than the other cameras that we're going to be listing today. And it shoots 1080p and 60 frames per second, another biggie.
Great for slow motion.
Yeah, this is great for slow motion videos. It does pretty good with videos too. And the next one will be a point and shoot. This will be a little less expensive, but still in a really great range where you can control your images. So this is the Sony RX100. Read off the specs.
The Sony RX100 will run you about $448. Of course, used or refurbished, you could get that a lot cheaper. 21 megapixel, great resolution for macro, stuff like that. 10 FPS, this is awesome for sports. 1080p at 60, which is, once again, great for slow motion.
Yeah, these smaller framed cameras like the Sonys, they do really great. They perform really great, even though they're not as well known as like the DSLRs, like the Nikon and the Canon. And I really recommend like starting out with these because they're gonna start rising up to the top.
A lot of them also are smaller, easier to carry around. Next we have the Lumix FZ70.
Yeah, this one costs a lot less. This is for the people that really have a low budget. It's also a point and shoot camera. It runs at $250, which is really low.
Yeah.
You could probably get it used for Just
150?
Yeah, 150.
150. This camera has an awesome lens, 60 zoom. That's incredible.
Yeah, 20 to 1200 millimeters. That's like
awesome.
A telescope.
That's awesome.
It has a 16 megapixel sensor. It has 9 FPS, still really good. And it does 1080p video at 30 frames per second, a little bit lower than the other ones that we just showed you. Still same with the SL1.
If you're getting one of these cameras with sports photography in mind, you're probably going to want to go with the Sony a6000. That 11 FPS is going to allow you to freeze that moment. If you're wanting to go a little cheaper, you have the Sony RX100 at 448. That's still pretty doable at 10 FPS. If you still want to go down more, you've got the Lumix FZ70 for about 250. That still gives you 9 FPS, and you've got that great telephoto.
Yeah, and just to expand on the Sony a6000, it also has really fast autofocus, as well as the Sony RX100. They have really good autofocus. I've messed with them, and it's awesome. It's a great experience messing around with these Sonys. Yeah, and if you want to buy a camera with macro in mind, probably as the viewer that asked the question has, you probably want to get the Nikon because it has 24 megapixels. It also has a really wide range of lenses. But of course, every single one of these cameras, they will probably perform very well with macro. Pretty much every single camera could do really great macro photography. And if you have portraiture in mind, the two DSLRs that I mentioned, the Nikon and the Canon, will probably perform best because they've got a wide variety of lenses, as I just told you. And they've got bigger sensors, so you'll probably get the wanted shallow depth of field as most people want in their portraits to make it nice and creamy and smooth.
Now, if wildlife photography is your thing, really the two DSLRs are going to be great just because the option of lens possibilities you have. Canon and Nikon both have a very good lineup of long-range lenses for wildlife. Also the Lumix, if you're trying to go cheaper, that 60 zoom is going to be amazing for wildlife. You also have the 9 FPS, which allows you to freeze movement.
The Sony a6000 also is pretty manageable with wildlife too, because they're coming out with lenses that you can do wildlife with. It's not like we're trying to single out mirrorless with this. It's just that Nikon and Canon have grown with their lineup of lenses for probably tens of years. So they're probably the best for choosing the lens that you want.
But Sony's coming up fast. It's just a matter of time before Sony can match Canon and Nikon's lens lineup.
If you want landscape, last but not least, you can do landscape photography with all of these very well. The DSLRs still kind of win in this better because they have a bigger sensor, so they can get wider shots. With the point-and-shoot cameras, you have a really small sensor, so you're not going to get as wide as you can get with the DSLRs.
That's not to say that the point-and-shoot won't work, though. You can get some really nice landscape shots with just a point-and-shoot. But if you're wanting to step it up a bit, you have the Canon 5D line. You have the 60D, the 70D.
And also in the Nikon, you have the D5000 range, like the D5200. You have the D7200 and the Z610.
And on the mirrorless side, you have stuff like the Sony A7 line. You've got Lumix GH4, the whole GH line.
And the OMD EM1 from Olympus. So all of these work great. You can just go out and find these cameras that are just awesome quality. These days, there's so much technology that is just amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's our list of DSLRs, point-and-shoots, or mirrorless cameras that are in the beginner range but still have that great quality and give you full control over your photos.
Yeah, with all these, you can switch to manual mode and get the full, at least I think in most of these cameras, maybe some of the point-and-shoot cameras don't give you as much, but they sure do give you enough manual control over your shots that you can do whatever. You can get good shots with these.
Also, with a lot of these cameras, you're going to have aperture priority, shutter priority, and a lot of the other creative modes that give you just more control over your image.
So that's the end of this video. I hope you guys got some really useful information. And if you guys liked the video, please like right here or down below. You can subscribe to my channel. There's somewhere on one of these corners there is a logo, and you can hover over that and subscribe quickly right there. And if you want to go to the channel though, you can go right here, right in this little area, and check out my other videos. So thanks a lot again for watching. See ya
next time. Have a great day.
Yeah.